I want to start with something that's been sitting heavy with me, and also for a lot of people watching what's unfolding in Gaza right now. Not only is the ceasefire clearly not a ceasefire, as Israel has violated the agreement many times over with their continuation of strikes, but now the beginning of a full-out plan to completely change the landscape of Gaza and finish the displacement, if not full genocide, of the Palestinians who have called this land home for decades. The inaugural meeting of the laughably named Board of Peace took place on Thursday. So today, I am asking a simple but urgent question. Who gets to imagine Gaza's future? Clearly, there are those who do not believe it should be the Palestinian people. It is elitist billionaire investors and developers. It's tyrannical leaders from around the globe willing to plop down a $1 billion investment at the chance of making billions of profit in return. It's a unificational effort of some of the worst people walking the face of the earth, hiding behind a fake persona, calling themselves the Board of Peace. My name is Kurt Mullet. I am Hoosier Blue, and I have something to say. Let's get at it. There's a new conversation happening among global elites, investors, and political insiders about what Gaza should look like the day after. And what's striking, what's alarming, is who's not in the room. Palestinians, the people who have lived there, raised families there, buried loved ones there, the people who have endured unimaginable loss. Instead, we're hearing billionaires talk about waterfront value and prime coastal potential, as if this land is a blank canvas waiting for someone with a checkbook and a vision board, as if the rubble is just an inconvenience on the way to a luxury development plan.
This will also enable expeditious planning and zoning, and not fragmented projects that do not contribute to an economic whole. The potential here is tremendous, but it has to start somewhere. The start is in Rafah, where, as you heard, that will be the first place security is deployed. The plan is 100,000 homes for 500,000 residents plus $5 billion of infrastructure. Over time, 400,000 homes for the entirety of the population with more than $30 billion of infrastructure. Let me put it in financial terms. This is not a problem of money or collateral. This is a problem of peace. The coastline alone, $50 billion of value on a conservative basis. The housing stock, more than $30 billion as rebuilt. The infrastructure, more than $30 billion. $115 billion of value. It just needs to be unlocked and financed.
And when you build a future without the people who belong to that future, you're not rebuilding. You're replacing. You're turning a homeland into an investment opportunity. You're turning trauma into a business model. What's keeping a lot of people up at night right now isn't just the destruction we've already seen. It's the future being planned without the people who actually live there. When you hear billionaires and political insiders talking about Gaza's waterfront potential or the value of the coastline, it tells you exactly who they are imagining this future for. And it's not Palestinians. Because when a community has been displaced, grieving and fighting for basic survival, and the first thing outsiders see is prime real estate, that's not reconstruction. That's commodification. That's treating a homeland like a development opportunity. And that is exactly what the Board of Peace is all about. And the structure being proposed, This Board of Peace only intensifies that fear. It's a U.S.-led body with billion-dollar buy-ins for membership, and Palestinians aren't at the table. Not in leadership, not in decision-making, not in shaping the vision. When you design a governance modeled like that, you're signaling that the people who live there are not the ones you're planning it for. And that's the heart of the concern. If you rebuild Gaza without Palestinians, you're not rebuilding Gaza. You're building something else entirely, something that could easily become a playground for global elitists, investors, and political power brokers, a place where the land is valued more than the people who belong to it. And history backs up this fear. We've seen this pattern in other places. Reconstruction that ends up locking in outside control, development that pushes out the original residents, stability plans that erase political agency. When the people most affected are excluded from the planning, the outcome is almost never justice. The inaugural meeting of Trump's Board of Peace took place and proved to all of us who are paying attention that this has nothing to do with creating peace, protecting, or bettering the lives of people. It is all about taking advantage of a genocide that they help fund while profiting from it. It is the purest form of power and control and inhumane practices that powerful men like the members of the Board of Peace have conducted and been part of throughout human history. Let's just start with who showed up. Viktor Orban was there, the architect of authoritarianism in Hungary. Javier Milei, the far-right president of Argentina, he was there too. So were representatives from Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Azerbaijan, Kazakhstan, and Uzbekistan, regimes with deep records of repression, political imprisonment, and state violence. Trump said he wants Vladimir Putin and Xi Jinping on the board. That's the direction this is headed. This is not a peace board. This is a table of strongmen, monarchs, and autocrats assembled under the American flag. It is an authoritarian alliance to its core. I'm just going to call it for what it is. History has shown us that alliances like these, that always start with handshake and deals, that are wrapped in lies and deception, end up taking a much different path than the one first presented. Many of us have seen what happened in D.C. on Thursday happen before, thinking to ourselves, surely this isn't what it looks like. It is exactly what it looks like. And that should alarm every single one of us who possess a moral compass. Before the summit ended, Trump announced that the United States would contribute $10 billion to the Board of Peace. $10 billion of taxpayers' money, mine and your money, to a group that he not only chairs, but personally controls the flow of the money it receives, with absolutely no congressional approval and no exposure of where that money will come from. He is literally taking $10 billion from us and stuffing it into his own pocket. While millions of Americans see increasing struggles just to find a way to afford to live. So the question I am raising today isn't abstract. It's simple. Who gets to imagine Gaza's future? Because if the answer isn't Palestinians, then whatever is being built is not peace. It's dispossession dressed up as development. And that's why people are speaking out. Not because they're making predictions about intent, but because they recognize the danger of a future designed by billionaires and governments instead of by the people who have lived, loved, and lost on that land for generations. Thank you for spending some time with me today and listening to my pod. I greatly appreciate your support. Please leave a comment. Let's start a conversation. Give me a follow and a like. And if you like what I have to say, please tell your friends, your family, and your coworkers. My name is Kurt Mullet. I'm Hoosier Blue, and I have something to say. I'll catch you on the flip side.